Today we're talking about breaking through, and that's what we're striving for. That understanding and knowing of the magnificence that is available to us all the time. It's about breaking through from a lower consciousness of just living in this human, dense, material world to breaking through to having that power and wonder and magnificence available to us. But what we do know is that life is a journey, and I found this wonderful quote, and we have a little picture to go along with it. It's a quote, it's actually a foreword from Ernest Holmes' book, Your Spiritual Power. And this foreword, or quote, or reading, was written in 1927 by Anna Columbia Holmes, which is Ernest Holmes' mother that you can see right there. And she tells us a little bit about breaking through. Life is a school which we must all attend, the same intelligence being in each. It is the task and high privilege of the individual to so develop their God-given powers that they shall not remain in the kindergarten, but may, by practical use of lessons learned in this grade, lessons of the need of manifesting joy, love, harmony, and peace, go on to each advancing grade, ever increasing in the knowledge and understanding of the One, who is in all, over all, and through all. The event called death shall be an open door to a grade beyond this plane, where we will continue to expand throughout all eternity. Ernest Holmes also states in this book, our spiritual power. Right now, we are as spiritual as we will ever be, right now. We will never be more spiritual. We are just becoming more and more and more aware of our spirituality. We are immortal beings on a pathway of an endless destiny, one which is forever expanding. After death, we will continue in the same way, good or not so good, until the lesson is learned. Wow, isn't this teaching amazing? You know, really, I don't know where I'd be right now without the beautiful teaching of Ernest Holmes and how he's synchronized so much of the wisdom of life and put it together in a way that we can use it and use it and use it and live it. It's really more than a religion or a philosophy. It's a way of life. Now, we are immortal beings, and we're continually growing and growing and growing. Don Miguel Ruiz Jr. was here on Friday night, and he is just the cutest thing. He is so adorable, and he's so loving and kind, and he majored in theater and film, so he's very animated and very cute and loves to tell stories. But one of the things he said is, I want everybody here to recognize you know, he talks about this eternal journey, but didn't quite say it that way. He said, you will never be any younger than you are today. You're the youngest you will ever be right now. The youngest you will ever be. So sort of what I was thinking is, get over this age thing. You know, we're young right now, the youngest we will ever be. I thought that was so cute. So we are on this journey, this eternal journey of awakening and becoming. My definition of breaking through, and thank you, Reverend Janet, for talking about, it's not breaking through on the outside, it's breaking through on the inside, moving from a lower consciousness to a higher consciousness, which brings us greater understanding about life and the way it works, greater understanding, which creates inspired action. When we have higher consciousness, we move out of that right, wrong, good, bad, yes, no thinking. We can have our own beliefs, our own values, but we're still able to hear and listen to other people That's what the trick is, that we can listen to other people. We can take in the whole of life instead of being strictly holding on to our place, our position, and this is what it is. You know, when Gretchen was singing, "How Great Thou Art," and about all the beauties and sacredness of this world and the energy, we live in a vast energy of unconditional love and infinite possibilities. And it might come down to thinking about what Ernest Holmes, when he had his radio show, he would always say this. Every time he came on, he'd say, "There's a power for good in the universe greater than we are, and we can use it." Oh, I wish I had his voice. Well, maybe that might be a little odd, but I would still love it. It's so beautiful. There's a power greater than we are. Really, everything, power, energy, creative energy is about everything we do. We need energy to do everything. And we've been given this power greater than we are. And we have a choice if we use it from our better self, our best self, our good self. And when we do that, the highest use of this power that we just heard about is when we make a difference in the world. You know, that doesn't mean that we have to go out and be on TV or a movie or get out there and speak to masses of people. Making a difference in the world is simply about sharing the goodness that you are to make a difference in someone else's life. It can be one person, 2 people, 5 people, 10. Masses, it doesn't matter. There is no size in the mind of God. It's an energy that we give. That's the best use of this power that's available to us all the time. Or, because we've been given free will, we can choose to live as limited versions of ourselves, separate, and as Karen talked about, loneliness. We can choose to live that way because we're tripping all over our shadow, our negative experiences, our doubts about ourselves, and we can live in this little container where we misuse the power that we've been given. But it's not about judgment. But what we do when we get to that place is we start pointing and judging, being the judge and jury for the world around us because we haven't gained our own power. We haven't used it to better ourselves and better life. Now, there's that misuse of power, and then there's powerlessness. That's where you don't use any power, where you just turn it inward to just work on yourself. A lack, powerlessness, when we don't have the power to move forward, when we don't have the power to say yes and no properly, that causes stress and poor health. We need to learn how to use this power we've been given. What would you have to let go of today? And I thought about this for myself this morning. This is an important day, and I was thinking about how far I've come in life in the last 27 years, which I'll talk about in a minute. But I thought, you know, I've really gotten more powerful in a lot of ways. I loved when I was younger to fit in. You know what that means? You always want to fit in. You want to be just fit. You just want to fit. You just want to be there and fit. You don't want to really be noticed. You just want to fit, a little bit. But when you fit in, that's not what life is all about. Brené Brown says people that can break through the crisis, the problems, the shadow in their life need a strong back, which means you have the courage to do what needs to be done to get where you want to go. A strong back, a soft front, which means you're vulnerable, you're open and available, you're ready to listen, and a wild heart, which means you're creative. You've tapped into that creative energy, and that's what we need to be thinking about, getting over ourselves into something greater. If God were talking to us right now, God would say, yes, I understand that sometimes life can be difficult. But I am giving you messages and lessons all the time on how to live a better life. I'm here to teach you that you are on an eternal journey, and we will all get there. You know, I do believe the human race will become enlightened. I truly believe in my heart of hearts that we will have a world that works for everyone. But how long it will take to get there depends on us. Because we have free will, we can choose to delay our good. And when we delay our good, it affects everyone. It's time for us to step into something greater. So I have two little stories about the messages from Spirit. We spent this week in Mammoth with our kids, our family. A great family vacation. They're all a little bit more active than Kirk and I are. The greatest thing I did was they wanted to go on a bike. Now, remember, it's almost 9,000 feet, which I'm not used to. I live at sea level. And, there was a lot of pollen from the wet winter, which was good. But so they wanted to ride some of the trails, and so I said, I'm getting an electric bike. And I'd never ridden on one, but it sounded so fun. That's such a relief. And Will, big 16-year-old Will, so, that's sissy, that's wimpy, I can't even believe it. But I was so happy when we were going up a long incline, and I flipped it up to 3, and I said, sorry, Will, I'm on a 3. That was a good thing. But another great experience where I could really see Spirit working. It reminded me of the strong back, the open front, the soft front, and the wild heart. One of my tasks when we were gone was to take Jeremy, the 13-year-old. Now, Will and Jeremy are very different if you've met them. Jeremy's small frame, slight, kind of an interesting young man. I love him to pieces, different, little squirrely at times. We went into a bookstore, the bookie joint, to get him a used book because they were going off camping. And so we go into the bookie joint. He goes over to get his book. I go up to the counter, and there's a young man, I figure he's the manager, about 30, and a helper there. I said, hi, and he says, hi, are you scared of birds? And I went, no, I don't have fear of birds. Why? And he said, and I could just see he was really, really nervous. He said, there's a bird in the store, and it kind of hopped in, and I don't know if it's sick, and I'm really afraid, and I don't know what to do about it. And I could tell somebody had come in that was afraid of birds and probably had the bird fly by and walked out. So here he was afraid. He's probably managing the store. He's afraid of the customers, afraid of the bird. He doesn't know how to get it. And I said, don't worry, I brought in an animal whisperer. And I did. And I said, show me the bird. He said, well, look, I got a picture of it. He's taken a picture of it. That's when I said, no, but where is it in the store? And he showed me back in the corner, and I went and got Jeremy. And we went back there, and he's trying to figure out what to do. And I said, Jeremy, will you help this nice man on how to get this bird? He said, well, the bird was up on the top shelf. You couldn't see. Jeremy goes, take the boxes down slowly. And we saw the bird, and then the bird flew away and hid under, and Jeremy walks quietly up and goes to get the bird, but didn't get it the first time, went to another case. He carefully pulls the bird out, and the manager's going like this. Walks to the front door, and I guess he wasn't holding tight enough, and the bird flew back, and he goes, not back in the store, that's what Jeremy said. And so the bird flew on a shelf, and the bird's looking at Jeremy, and he comes up, he picks up the bird, because Jeremy had no fear. He wasn't afraid of the bird. He wanted the best for the bird. Picks it up, walks it outside this time, lets it go. That manager stood there like this. He could not believe what just happened. The timing that we walked in, synchronicity. What can happen when you have no fear? And to trust the process was beautiful. That's one way. If that fellow had the courage to recognize in me that I would help him, and that Jeremy went in, and it was a miracle that happened. Now, those are little things. Let me tell you something bigger. Sometimes in life, as every person here knows without question, we need to be broken open. It can be a health diagnosis. It can be a loss of money, a job. It can be a loss of someone you love. It was 27 years ago today, on August 18th, 1992, it was a Tuesday, that our daughter Tara made her transition. Gosh, you don't even believe after 27 years that the emotion still comes up. But let me tell you about that day. It was a Tuesday where Deanna, Tara, and their friends and I took them all out school shopping. Had a great day. We couldn't quite decide on what they wanted, so we put things on hold, and we were going to go back tomorrow, the next day, to get them. We stopped by the store and got things. Tara wanted to make burritos for dinner. We went to the video store, believe it or not, and bought a video. I remember the video we rented. Never did watch it until maybe a year ago, but Point Break, a surfing movie. And so we come home. Kirk, it was a Tuesday, he had choir practice. He wasn't home. Tara made burritos for all of us, and we're sitting at the table having a good girl time, and she hands me my burrito and says, looks at me right now, Mom, when you're finished with your work on this plane of existence, can you go at any time to do more important work elsewhere? I looked at her and said yes, because I do believe that. And we went on and finished burritos, and then went to take one of the girls home so we could come back and watch the video. Well, we had a kind of an unspoken rule in our family that we always said, I love you, even if you were just going out for a minute. I just said, I love you, Tara, and they went off. I never got to see her beautiful physicality again, but I have felt her spirit ever since. So after the horrific trauma at the hospital, we had to come home and, of course, tell our daughter that I won't go there. But what we found was, you've read our book, many of you, that on our counter, we hadn't made cookies that day. There was a homemade angel cookie. We didn't know where that came from. Right there on the counter. Sweet cookie, nobody brought it. It was just there. Went up to Tara's room. On the floor of her room, which wasn't always the cleanest thing, for sure, was one song sheet out of the teen songbook, You're an Angel. So that inspired us, gave me the backbone to do something more. I was teaching school then, 3rd grade. I'd graduated from kindergarten, as Anna advised me to do. Was teaching 3rd grade, but it was very hard to go back and teach younger kids right then. And I knew I had to do something different. I had the backbone and the heart and the wild idea to do something different. But let me tell you something too. When you're broken open, you have the courage to do something you never would have done if you let it be. I had the courage to listen to people say to me when I wanted to open an angel store. Of course, I have no retail experience. I don't even really like to shop. But people gave us so many angels. I wanted to share that experience with people, like Healing Way. People saying, so you like baseball? I didn't even explain it to them. But people saying, you're going to make money off your daughter's death. I mean, but when you have the courage to do something beyond, I didn't need to fit in anymore because I knew what I was doing. I knew I had a greater mission. I knew I had a bigger purpose. I lost a lot of friends who didn't understand. I lost a lot of people, but when you are on a mission and you can break out of needing to fit in, needing to live in the box, needing to live by the rules, but you have a wild heart of creativity, you can do something wonderful. We're here today because we're here from the wings of an angel. That's why we're all here, whether we know it or not. And I just would like to take this time, and Kirk, is Gretchen here? If we could just join together, and I'm going to invite us to be led in a meditation, to be lifted. Because what breaking through is being lifted to a new consciousness, to know we are never, ever, ever alone. To know that life is inherently good no matter what we are experiencing now. To know that we are on a journey, an eternal journey of awakening, and life gets better and better and better if we let it. So I'm going to invite you right now to simply untangle yourselves. Be open and available in this moment. to that beautiful power that we started out, that something greater that's always there for us, to be open and available to that in this moment, to let your mind melt on your heart, and to lighten your load in this moment by letting go of any anger, negativity, lack of forgiveness, any thought of the future, of the past, and be totally present.
In the arms of the angel, fly away with me. In the arms of the angel, you will be forever free. In the arms of the angel, you have nothing to fear. You're in the arms of the angel. May you find some comfort here.
As we let the notes and the words and the beauty of the songs simply open us and melt us and allow us to feel that bridge of light and love that connect us to spirit, to God, to goodness. As we relax in this moment, as we relax in the consciousness of God and let the angels, the goodness, the messengers of spirit, the joy, the love tend to us. May we feel healed in this moment, healed as we've lifted ourselves, that we turn sadness into joy, fear into faith, brokenness into wholeness, any anger or resentment into a consciousness of love and forgiveness.
In the arms of the angel,
Imagine that the angels are simply placing a crown of light on your head, a crown of light that is a reminder that we are one with God, one with each other, one with all life, that life is inherently good, that we are here to collect our experiences, to have a greater understanding, to infuse them with love and joy, to make connections, to bring this world together. The highest use of this power we have within us is to bless this world with the light and goodness of who we are.
comfort here. Comfort here. Some comfort here.
My wish and blessing for each and every one of you is that you find peace and love and comfort and joy in our community, because I know that we are here for one another. I know that by watching people as they come together in that love Karen talked about, as people come in, I see us celebrate in times of joy together, because our vision is always not just good for ourselves, but for others. And I know how we comfort one another in times of need. This is who we are, and this is why I have a faith, an undeniable faith, that we can create a world that works. God bless you all. You know how much I love you, and so it is. And so it is. Thank you.